Hello and welcome to the initial Site Clinic podcast. I'm so excited today that we're going to be able to go through some websites that people have submitted for us to look at. Let me tell you real quick the whole premise of the show. Okay, all we're going to do is we're going to take these sites that have been submitted to us by business owners or other people around the web. There's 3 sites we're going to look at today. And I also got with me to help look at these sites our VP of SEO at Right IMC, George Keith. Now, George is a very accomplished SEO, and I'm going to let him introduce himself in just a second. But also, I wanted to tell you guys that every week when we do on this podcast, we're going to have a different guest. It's going to be someone in the digital marketing. I got to fix that. Digital marketing industry, a very high level folks, and we're going to be looking at sites every single week, critiquing them and talking about them. So please, submit your sites, and you can also, if you want to be a guest, you can contact me. It's all at our website at the siteclinicpodcast.com. But with that, George, why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself, maybe something funny or something that's going on with you.
Sure. My name is George Keith. I've been working in the SEO sphere for a little over 10 years now. I've been at Right IMC for, it'll be 6 years in a month, Tony, just so you know.
Time flies, man.
It does. It's great. I started out, I kind of fell into the industry. I went to school for something very different in psychology, and I worked for a company who at the time was going to disband their SEO program. And I decided I offered to take the knowledge I had and learn more to keep the program going, and I succeeded. So everything I've learned, I've been taught by Tony, or I've learned myself. So if there's any issues with anything,
I don't know about that. You're going to scare people away.
No, but, you're fine. You're fine. But
so
George has been. I love SEO. So
and I love that. I love that about you, George, because without you, Right IMC doesn't run. So, and George is extremely knowledgeable when it comes to websites and website design, analytics issues. George is a whiz with that type of thing, and so he's going to be a great asset to us. And I expect that George will be a recurring guest on this podcast as we continue. Now, bear with us today. This is our first inaugural edition, so there's going to be some bumps in the road. There's going to be some things that maybe don't work as well as we'd like them to, but we know that we're dedicated to making this podcast work from a long-term perspective, and I'm really excited about the possibilities. I can't wait. So if you have friends, please don't just like and subscribe. Go and talk to them and say, hey, you need to go check out the Site Clinic podcast.
You're muted.
I don't know how that happened.
Muted.
I'll edit that
out.
The first site that we're going to take a look at is Computer Staff Incorporated. This site was sent to us via our blog and our website. And so we're just going to take a look at this, and we're going to look at it from an SEO perspective. And we'll kind of be running some tests, etc. But I'm going to go ahead and share the site here. Let's see, share the screen, and here we go. Okay, so here we go. We've got a site. I'll tell you, George, the first thing that I noticed on this site that is something that really drives me crazy is the slider and animation at the top.
Yes.
We see this a lot, and I know that people think it looks great. And when you're designing a website, a lot of times people think that it's necessary to have some sort of animation because you've been staring at a static image for so long, you get tired of it. But frankly, you don't need it. And studies have shown over and over again that animation and these types of sliders actually hurt your conversions. So my very first step would be to get rid of that. George, do you agree with me on that one?
100%. Lots of JavaScript going on here, lots of flashing. There should be a warning if you have seizure issues to maybe not hang out at the site for a little bit. But yeah, I got it off in this monitor here, and it's distracting with the flashing. But yeah, definitely. Another thing I noticed is the navigation bar is in an interesting spot. If you scroll down just a bit, there it is.
Yeah, you know what? This site has what I call BAB. You know what that is? Big ass banner syndrome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Giant hero syndrome. Giant hero image syndrome. So yeah,
the good thing is
if you go all the way down here to see the navigational stuff.
The good news is once you get past the bab there, it sticks. So if you scroll down, it is sticky. So that's the good thing. It's just figuring out if it's there. I'd be interesting to look at some heat maps to see if people are missing that altogether and just
Yeah, and and I'll
now.
tell you, I think Larry is the guy who submitted this site, and I'll make sure he sees this podcast. But definitely use Microsoft Clarity for heat mapping. It's free. There's no reason that you shouldn't be using it on your site. Now, obviously, we don't have a chance to look at his Microsoft Clarity reports, and in the future, maybe we will be able to look at some for some of the sites we're looking at. But for today, I can just tell you that there's a lot of UX issues on this site, and I think the biggest ones we've kind of touched on with the big ass banner, and then also the navigational issues, because it's just hard. I mean, if you come into the site, you don't know what you're looking at. There's a start now, and if we're trying to make a linear thing, it just drives us down there. I think it's unnecessary. Other thing, last one thing, delivering extraordinary talent. I actually don't mind the messaging. I think that the messaging is okay. I think it could be tighter and maybe a little bit more catchy, but I don't mind that messaging. I just think that you can't have just this start now and this image at the top. It really throws people off.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how many people are bouncing off right away.
Okay. Well, let's talk real quick about what we're seeing from an SEO standpoint on this site. And I'm going to real quick put this site into SEMrush so that we can just take a quick look at the domain and share that screen instead of this one. Hold on just a second. Takes just a second. I'm learning.
We're here for you. I'm struggling too. So.
There we go. Okay. There, you can see this. Okay. This is, now I'm going to tell you guys, we do subscribe to SEMrush as an agency, and we are very, very big on this software. We like it a lot. We use it for a lot of different things, and it does cost a little bit of money. However, this page right here doesn't cost you anything. The domain overview, that's the free part of SEMrush. So anybody, you can do this for any site, your own site. Go to semrush.com and put in your site. It's really easy to do, and you'll be able to see the same type of information that I've got right here. And so we can kind of see, if we're looking at this site, it looks like it's, from an organic traffic standpoint, it has lost a lot in the last couple of months. I have some suspicions on why, but this is a really big issue for Larry, because his traffic's going down. And if we look at the organic traffic in general, it looked like it was pretty steady before that. And now I will say, caveat, SEMrush's traffic is made based upon the number of keywords that a site is ranking for. So it's highly, highly inaccurate. But we do know that when you lose keywords, you lose traffic. George, what do you think about this?
You're definitely right about how it's not like a one-to-one thing, but it's a great guideline. I tell clients all the time, it's a great, it's like if I can see it diving on here, I can actually go to analytics, and it doesn't match up equally, but it gives me, it's like the canary in the coal mine, if you will. If I see it dying, we're going to go dig in, figure out what's going on. But it is very useful. I use that with new clients and new websites almost every day. The important one is, the more important one I think is the one where you just scroll down to, is the organic keywords right there.
Yes.
Those have just plummeted. So whether
and there wasn't, and honestly, there wasn't a ton in there in the top.
No, they were mostly low. I will see there's a couple G's there, so I don't know if there's some algorithm updates that may have happened.
Yeah, this is the December 2024 core algorithm update, and then this is another one they released, that spam update. So this is a helpful content update and then the spam update.
I don't, it was going down before that, but that finished it off, I think, So I would be looking at the content for those right now to see maybe if Google's seeing something as not helpful or a little spammy. We just check out and see what we got going on in there first.
Well, I'm going to go. I'm not sure. Did it go back to the site? Yeah, it did. Okay, it's following me. Okay, good. Because I was just going to go back real quick and see. I don't really know if I see anything spammy on here unless there's something hidden. But I do think that the content could be probably rewritten a little bit better than it is, a little bit tighter. The site just it kind of is hard to like. This here should be links,
I
etc.
was going to say, those. I was going to ask if those were links. We're going to get a lot of dead rage clicks on those if we don't make them links.
No, they're not. That's a big UX thing that probably we need to add in there. But again, let's go back here real quick. I don't want to get off topic too far. But I'm looking at this. One of the things I always like this report with the top organic keywords, and you can drill down into here and look at these keywords and kind of see what they're ranking for and where they're ranking and how much volume those keywords get. I will tell you that this PC staff is a pretty decent keyword, I think, for this company. Although I'm not sure. I think the volume is very low, but it's relevant. So I think that's a good one to have. Computer workers, I don't know any HR person that's putting that into the search engine. I would imagine that would be a low intent keyword for the client. And it says, and SEMrush does give you what the intent is, and they say it's informational. So you can see right there, it's informational. But you can kind of see what the keywords are. So
if we go down, there's one on there that I think there was a little.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We can go back to it.
Where is it?
The computer people staffing. That's a little. It's a navigational keyword, but it's ranking higher, and it has a better volume, I think, than the other one. I mean, granted, I don't think many people are going to be searching computer people staffing, but something similar to that, like just with staffing in it, I think is going to change the intent behind it, because we're probably looking for staff. Just adding that word is going to change the intent, I believe, and I think we need more keywords like around that in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the first step on this site, really, doing a keyword, a really extensive keyword research on it before, and then looking at the site itself and saying, okay, where do we need to add content that'll support these keywords? And I think computer people staffing, you can see it's already ranking on the first page, but that means that this topic, we probably could really put some effort. You could put some effort around computer people staffing that topic of keywords and move some keywords up to the front page.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go back real quick to this organic position. Just you've already seen this, but I did think it's interesting that the keywords that they're ranking for, only 11% of them are transactional. Definitely want to be looking for some more transactional keywords. Now, the informational keywords, I love to have informational keywords. They hit people at the top of the funnel. And I always tell people, search engines, if you show up for a topic when people are searching for that topic, especially if it's a high-end topic, and computer staffing is a pretty big decision when you're looking to hire. You're going to give somebody 20% of somebody's salary to just tell you, get the resume for you. So it's a pretty big purchase. And we really need to make sure that you've got people that are in that end stage looking for you, but also that you're showing up in the beginning stages as well. So you see the informational is really important because over time, if they see their name continuously in the search engine results pages as they're researching a specific topic, they will think that whoever's brand shows up there the most, that's the brand leader in those minds, good or bad. If they're showing up in the majority of the searches, then they are the brand leader in the consumer's mind. So it's really important that we definitely would need to get some more keywords ranking. And I think that there's some, we'll get into that in a second, but I want to take just a quick look at this. But George, do you have anything on here that you think this on the SEMrush that you want to talk about?
One of the things, piggybacking on what you said about the brand, you can see right there the branded traffic trend plummeted in November. So they had a bunch of branded traffic, and like right over there, you can see there's nothing. We out of the keywords, we don't have a lot of branded traffic now. Granted, Computer Staff Inc. is a tricky brand name to rank for because it has a lot of those keywords in there. So it's more of an. I think that might be more of like maybe an entity issue.
Yeah, I think
But
there definitely is there's something going on there, an entity issue, because I mean, even if you have a you know a domain name like this, you should, if you have a domain like Computer Staff Inc., you should show up for your
yeah,
own name.
yeah.
And he's not even showing up for his own name, so obviously that's some problems. Go back up here. The links that he has, they have the backlinks. They only have 100. They have 123 backlinks from 49 domains. And just click into this just real quick. Now, links. I'm going to tell you guys, links are important, and they're still important. But as Google has said, and we have seen, they are not as big of a part of the algorithm as they used to be. So if you're just doing link building, you're missing out on a lot. Now it's about the holistic effort for your website. Just don't, but we do look at your links, and I want to look at these links, and you can see he's got Glassdoor, Crunchbase. All of these look legit. Of the 123 he's got, I don't see any that. In fact, I look up here, I don't see. They're all look pretty good. Most of them are followed. A few non-followed. I'd be interested to see what those. I'm not going to dig into that right now, but I would dig into that and see what those are. Maybe we could get some of those refollowed, but it doesn't look very spammy to me. What do you think, George?
Not at all. Not at all. I've worked on a lot of clients recently that had tremendous toxic domains. It's a slog going through, but all those, I mean, just from the just a quick look at them. I mean, there's that one's okay. I don't see anything. I mean, I see some Vietnamese stuff, but they look to be okay.
I mean, and just because it's in a foreign language doesn't mean it's spam.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm also very wary to,
This directory might be a little bit sketchy here, but I think it's okay. But anyways, okay. So let's kind of before we put a pin in Computer Staff, I want to take a real quick look, go back to the site here, and just see, George, would you mind run a quick speed test on this site while I talk about a couple of things from an SEO perspective? The content on here there's enough content on here for a homepage to adequately rank for specific keywords. What I see though is that we're all over the place. I don't see what the keywords are. So I can look here. I can look at the code, and I'm not sure if this is going to pull up, but if that pulled up in Riverside, I'm not sure. Yeah, it did. Okay. So I can kind of come, and I always like to look at the code. Now, if you're not a coding person, don't get intimidated by the HTML code. It should not be something, because especially if you're just looking at it for SEO purposes, there's just a few things we're going to look at. And you can just go like here, go title. That's all I need to know. And his title, this is the headline that shows up in the search engine results page for his company. This title is inadequate. It's just his name. It doesn't have any keywords in it. It doesn't have any description of what he does. And honestly, I think that if he did just this, if he just updated his title tag, he could probably double or triple his traffic, just even by doing it on the homepage. It's so powerful to make sure that you have a good title that is very keyword rich. And so you can see, there's no meta description on here, but that's pretty much, there's other things I would look at from an SEO standpoint here, but let's go. George, did you take a look at the at their page feed?
Yes, I ran it in PageSpeed Insights and in Pingdom just to get a couple different recommendations.
Well, do you want to share your stuff on there? I'll stop sharing.
Sure. Step 2: forget how to share.
Yeah, I know. We're new software. We're all learning here.
It's all right.
Hope you guys are having fun. I am.
I figured it out. There we are. So this is just a quick run through PageSpeed Insights in mobile. Not the worst I've ever seen. By far. A little high on some things. The first contentful paint was a little long. Not too terrible.
This is mobile?
This is the mobile side, yes.
I will tell you, 8.7 seconds there. That's
a bit. Well, you can see how it flows too, so it's taken a while to show up on mobile.
Well, right. And for those that don't kind of understand what we're talking about, this is a tool that Google provides us that tells us how fast a site's loading. Now, sites need to load fast, especially in today's climate. Everyone expects a fast website, and the website needs to be especially fast on the mobile side. And so we're looking here at the mobile side, and I could tell you if you just pick up, count to 8 seconds while you're sitting there waiting to look for a website, it's a long time and you're going to get a lot of bounces on that.
Yeah.
George, go ahead. I see you're going into the performance, so go ahead.
Yeah. So down, we just got the normal things going on. So they're doing well on SEO practices. So yeah, it's like the normal things. You just got to figure out easy things like updating the photo formats, checking out the resources, unused JavaScript. I would imagine there's a ton of unused JavaScript on that site that's just there and only runs occasionally.
Yeah, and that's going to bloat that code really bad.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's been a debate going on in the SEO community right now. George, I don't know if you've seen this. Brett Tabke has been talking a lot about, Google has said that is now requiring that if you're going to search on Google, you have to have JavaScript enabled.
Yeah, I did see that.
That was not the case before. But what a lot of SEOs are seeing is that the JavaScript on their site is not being rendered or looked at by the Google bot. It's not even opening it. There's no way it can get in there. Brett Tabke is a friend of mine from Webmaster. He runs Webmaster World and PubCon. Great conference, by the way, if you ever want to look, if you're looking for an SEO conference. But he ran some tests that showed that basically Google's not looking past his Ajax at all on several pages that he had that were already ranking before. But he also noticed that when he added in the Ajax and waited for a little time, that they didn't drop either. So it didn't hurt him, but it didn't help him. But if Google has never seen your page before and you have a ton of JavaScript on there, there's a good chance it's not going to find that page. And so I'm still a big proponent of using as little JavaScript as you can. I know you guys that are running React and Node and all those other fancy web development programs that cause a lot of bloat and don't give us a lot of benefit. I'll just be frank. I think especially React is just a nightmare. I would definitely look at moving to something a little more static because I don't think this problem's going away. I think, we've seen JavaScript as a problem in SEO for as long as I can remember. It's always been. Now it's a lot better than it used to be because Google couldn't even read it back in the day. But now they can read it, they can crawl through, they can render it, and we know that they do. But I think that what's happening is a page has to get to a certain authority level before it's rendered. And we know that this now here computer staff doesn't have that problem, doesn't have JavaScript, but it is just something to be aware of.
Yeah. I think some of their keyword issues too on this one, just to touch on that before we go, is this is a one-page site. So some of the content, like we were just talking about the title tags and stuff. We have one title tag. This is literally just one page. So it's hard to get extra content in there because it's all just on one single page. And I'm not a fan of how far down the jobs are because I think that's one of their best.
Oh no, that's definitely that's the call to action. That's you've got. This is what you want people to come to your website for, right? I mean, if you're running this site, this is your conversion point. This is the whole purpose of you being there, so that they can fill that out. And you've got it buried so far down, especially with the big ass banner where it looks like when you get to the top, it looks like you might even not be able to see any navigation below, especially on a mobile device. Good Lord. I mean, if you say you're out and you get and you need to go check out this recruiter to see if they're legit and you come to this website, it's way down there to even get to a place where they can contact you. People say, okay, we've got a contact button. That's not enough. I'm an advocate of putting a form on every page of your website and putting that form very prominently and highly. The other thing is, it doesn't have a phone number or anything else on the homepage. So that's something I would definitely add. But we have spent too much time on this site, so I'd like to move on to the next one, George. But let's just real quick. In conclusion, what I would say about computer staff is I would definitely take a look at your code, the code of your website, see if you can't fix some of those coding issues. And I would take a look at maybe not being a one-page site, just because one-page sites are really hard to make rank. They're fun, they're easy to maintain, but from an SEO standpoint, they're just not that great. And then the last thing is really double down on your keyword research and create topics and content around those topics that are the keywords that people are looking for you. George, do you have anything to add to that?
I think you're spot on. Making it more than a one-page site I think will get some of that traffic back that they lost. And just improving I gotta turn off this flashing.
Yeah, I
Just
know. It's driving me a little crazy too.
Yeah, improving on just the structure and like the title tags and all that. I mean, it's just a lot of missed opportunities. And we haven't even dove into the photos and if there's a size issue with the photos. We just didn't have time for that. But.
Oh no, yeah, no, I know, and that's the thing is, and Larry, if you want some more, Larry, whoever the person who submitted this, I'm happy to go over some of these issues with you to talk about it and see how they may be fixed. Now, I'm not pitching it for business, but that's totally free. Everything we do on here is free. Now, obviously, if you want to call us for some help, we'd love to help you. But we're doing this to help inform and educate everyone else, not just to get business for ourselves. So
yeah, it's about helping.
But anyways, we'd love to help you. But let's go ahead and move on, George, to our next site. And our next site is, I'll go ahead and share here. And there we go. You can see we've got NWA Window Decor. Now this website, just to give you a little bit of background, George, this comes from a friend of mine that I went to undergraduate college with back, I'm not even going to say how many years ago, a long, long time ago. So this is Stacy. I really am happy that you were able to submit this site and want to take a look at it and see what we think. And I think, in the last section we talked about, the big ass banner. This has a big giant hero image, but I think it definitely works a lot better than the computer staffing one did. But I still think it's a little too big, especially on my screen. And I'm just because it's almost below the fold that the request a quote is there. I definitely would move that up, and I don't think we need quite as large of an image there. What do you think about that, George? I mean, it's a window decor site. They're definitely decor. Images are extremely important, but
no, they are.
Is that giant image? Do you think? I guess I'd have to test it, but what do you think? Would you go with that giant image, or do you think you'd maybe shorten that a little bit?
Well, I definitely would shorten the height of it. And if that works with the photo, we can keep it. It's just like you said. On mine, I do see I have a little bit smaller monitor, I guess. So I do see the request a quote button, but it looks like that's where the site ends.
I see that.
I'd be interested to see the scroll data, to see how far people are actually getting down on the site. I mean, we need to move it a little bit above the fold because I think that having a whole image like that taking the fold, I bet that request a quote gets clicks.
Yeah,
I mean, it
probably
could be a little more prominent.
I don't know why you can't move that. At least if you're going to keep it this size, which I think it could be just a little. I don't think it needs to be a ton smaller, but a little bit smaller,
no.
And move this text you have here up a little bit higher. You're going to get much more traction, especially on mobile devices and people having to scroll down, because I come in here, this is fine. Request a quote. It's a little too big, I think.
One of the things I would like to see redone is the navigation of the header.
It's too small.
It's too small. I had to get close to see what the logo was. It makes sense when you see it, but I mean, it was a little small. I understand the minimalist approach. I appreciate that. This looks like we've gone too far in that direction. And it's I think it's maybe too wide. Maybe if we move that over to the other side on the same line, we could move that photo up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just, make it a little better.
Yeah, I think,
a little more engaging and inviting. It doesn't match the site to me.
I would imagine this is a template.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
But just because it's a template doesn't mean you can't change things. Okay, I want people to understand that. Just because it's a template doesn't mean you can't change what this entire navigation. I'd probably this whole section up here when my mouse is moving right here, I would redesign this whole section and make it just a little bit more graphical. I don't want to go too much because I like the minimal, but you could actually use some different fonts. You could use some other. A good designer could really make this pop, make this smaller, and then have that request a quote coming up a little higher.
And the text right there over the image with the way the background changes colors, that little design fabrication underneath it kind of, you lose it. So you see it when it's got the background on. You see it's kind of that little line of text underneath NWA window decor. That's right there. You're right there. You're right next to it. So you don't even see it. That's the thing.
No, I don't see it. Oh,
Go.
the
Yeah.
subhead. This
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to read. And again, a font. I mean, we could do a better font
Mhm.
with that. I'd like to see, I'd like to see how big the images are.
I didn't
Like
look.
the
I didn't even
size of
look.
them.
Did you see what this site is built in? Is it WordPress or is this a Wix site?
Well, let's check that out. Let's try action.
It's just starting to feel like Wix to me.
And it's
And just
Wix
so you guys know,
or
we did know these sites ahead of
Squarespace.
time, but neither George and I have taken a ton of time to look at them before
It is.
today, because I really like to have it fresh. But go ahead. Sorry, it is what?
It is Wix. You are
Yeah.
Swami. You figured it out.
I'm good. Man, I could pick them, can I?
That's right.
I really think, and I could tell just because of some of the choices. It's it has a template, and then you're able to add things in. And in Wix, even this is a little bit harder to change these navigational things, but you can do it just by going in and, especially if you know somebody who understands HTML and CSS, Wix will allow you to customize it. So that's something that you could definitely do. If you don't know how to do it, that might be something you want to hire somebody to do. You could either go on to, some of there's tons of sites out there where you can hire pretty inexpensive web developers for small businesses. If you're a little bit more concerned about your code and things like that, first of all, probably Wix is actually okay. Wix used to be awful. I used to tell everyone stay away from Wix, and it's still not as good as WordPress. So it's not customizable. It's a little bit harder to work with, but it's a hosted environment type of thing. So basically, with Wix, you pay them a monthly fee, and their website's there. You stop paying them a monthly fee, your website goes away, and you don't have the website anymore. You can't really move the website from one place to another without getting some real big coding in there. So there's disadvantages, but it's gotten a lot better for SEO. Morty Oberstein is over at Wix. He's a friend of mine. He's an SEO, and he also is done just an amazing job over at Wix of getting them to change over their entire program so that it is SEO friendly. It used to be, it was just, I would stay away from it. But now I'm not upset when I see a client in Wix, but I still want to move them to WordPress. If Stacy, if you were to be our client, I would definitely want to move you over to WordPress. But if it was a cost thing or something else, then I would understand. But it's definitely something that that you need to be looking at as far as what that code is. But
Yeah.
in these pictures, George.
I mean, just when you say code, I want you to take a look at like the title tags, especially for this page.
Here, real quick.
No.
Oh, where is the title?
What's there?
There's only
Maybe
one
they
mention. I don't
they-
see a true. I don't see a true title tag here, and I think that this may be something that goes with.
Well, the one that I'm seeing in search results, like if you hover over the tab and see it, it's a window covering pipe, NWA window decor, another pipe, and then United States. I'm not sure how like helpful.
There it is. There it is. Right
There
there.
it is. Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
It was just buried down below a bunch of JavaScript.
That's Wix.
Anyways,
welcome to Wix.
Yeah, I know. So you can tell I work in Wix all the time. Covering NWA. I mean.
Well, I mean they're located in Arkansas. I'm assuming,
yes, Northwest Arkansas, the Fayetteville region. It's a beautiful area up there.
It is. It's amazing. I go camping all the time there. But they mention that in their description and stuff. But the title tag says United States. I don't know if one. Yeah, I don't know if you want it. It's just not needed.
Well, the United States is not a keyword for her at all. I mean, and even putting the site is in the United States, I think it's pretty obvious it's in the United States. We don't need to do that. NWA window decor, that's the name of the company. Window covering is a keyword that she wants to show up for, maybe, I'm assuming. I think that we could do a better. Okay, remember, like I said on the last site, your title tag is the headline. That's what shows up in the search engines. When someone's finding your company. So you've got to make sure that you've got something not only has keywords in it, but it's something that's compelling. It's going to convince somebody to click on your site as opposed to one of the others that's on the page. And I've seen great title tags create more traffic than a number one page result would, even if they're in the top 3 or 4. It's if you can have that title tag that gets the click, that really entices the person to want to click on the site, then why wouldn't you do that? And this title is just a little bit, using the pipes is an old school technique. I actually like the pipes, but I think that title tag needs a little bit more oomph. It needs a little bit something else to get it out there and make it better.
Description as well. I think it could be a little more click-inducing, for lack of a better term, than what it is. That can be redone. That's not really a ranking
provides
factor.
custom-made window coverings in Northwest Arkansas.
I mean, it's basic. It's what it is. I mean, but we could make it better to entice people to click, I believe.
And I think that one of the other things we could talk about here is she's got the cities here. Springville, Rogers, the cities that she services. I think that instead of having, I definitely could put that in Northwest Arkansas. I'm not sure you need those city names in your description, but definitely making sure that you have a page for the cities that you're wanting to cover. And if we go back here, if you're looking at your navigation about the team, what to expect, we don't have anything about any of those cities. We're talking about, maybe here's some work in Rogers, here's something we did. And that could also, that type of work could really be on a blog. If you're looking for a place to put it in something like this, or in just a spotlight section in the news type of thing. But you're not going to show, if I want to show it for, let's see, Springdale window coverings, Springdale, Arkansas window coverings. That's a great keyword for you to show up for. But in order to do it, you've got to have Springdale, Arkansas somewhere on the site besides in the code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because people are going to, even if they come back to the site after searching that, they're going to find here, and they're not going to see it mislisted anywhere. And they're going to.
And I think that's a big deal on this site. I definitely would want to make sure that your local SEO, which a lot of people, and as we're still trying to find who the audience is for this, forgive all of the people that are advanced SEOs on this. Forgive me for going so basic, but local SEO is a different algorithm than what I call traditional Google search. Local SEO depends a lot more on what we call citations or mentions of your website. And frankly, that's also kind of where I think, and I don't know this for sure, but where I think AI search is going to is going to be mentions of a page. And you have to make sure that your everything, what we call the NAP, name, address, and phone number, is the same in every citation all over the web. Blah, blah, blah. So I would definitely make sure that she does that, but we're not going to we will have a show, and I'll probably make sure that George is on that show, maybe even a couple of guests on a show where we go really deep into local search engine optimization, but that's not today. Today we're just looking at this. George, go ahead. Do you have any observations? I'm going to pull this up on.
One more. I like the call to action buttons that were on there, but the more I've been looking at it, I don't think they're big enough. See the little contact, request a quote button, and let's get started. The font's a little bit difficult to read in the black. I mean, it's not horrible, but it doesn't stand out.
Now, do these go to the same place? I'm not sure. That's broken.
That one didn't go anywhere. Okay.
That's broken. It's supposed to be a link. I know that's supposed to be a link.
And it should go to the. Do me a favor, click on Let's Get Started, and then go to that should be the page, because that's a request a quote page. So I do think they go to the same one. It takes a little while. I'm assuming they're using a form, they're embedding a form. So this just takes a little bit. It took a lot longer on mine to show up than yours.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that I hate this form. It's just too. If I'm looking for window decor stuff, and I have to contact you, and now you're making me fill out all this stuff.
Yeah,
you don't need to have the two. What you need is the first and last name, and then I would put email and then phone number down below that. And then if you really need their address, just to see if you're in the service area, put that down there. But frankly, just to get the quote out to them or to talk to them, to get on the phone with them, you don't need their home address. And especially if someone's maybe privacy concerned, they don't want to give their address out. There's a lot of reasons not to do that. I would just get rid of that completely.
I
I would
think
move
it's
email.
really
Yeah.
interesting that the name, address, and the notes about the project are the only things required. Like, I mean, I would think phone or email, because if they just put that information in and they don't put name or phone, are you going to show
How
up
do you
at their
get it? Yeah.
house to talk to them? I mean, I mean, you're welcome to hang out to hear, but I mean, I think there's probably a better way to do that. I would definitely, like you said, make the email required and even put the phone there, but maybe not make it required. But the address is just too much. I think that may be too much.
Well, I'm going to go real quick back to SEMrush and get rid of computer staff and put in NWA window decor. It's kind of exactly what I expected. This site, I don't know how old this site is. I'm guessing it's not that old, or there hasn't been a lot of SEO work done to it. It just doesn't have much. We're not seeing much showing up at all in the search engines. 18 backlinks, authority score of 2. We go down here to the, keywords aren't even showing up here. If we go look at these organic keywords down here, I mean, there's nothing. We got nothing. We got 2 in the 50s, 50 to 100 range. Yeah, 3 in the 21 to 50. There's just not much. I doubt that this site gets much traffic from search engines at all. I'm just looking, positioning. The only keywords that we're ranking for here, these fabric cut Roman shades. Now, I will say that SEMrush says this is an informational and a transactional intent. So that's a good keyword. Transaction. We definitely want people that are transactional. They're at the end of the funnel. They're ready to buy. That's money in the bank. We want to make sure that we have those types of people coming into the website. But you see we're at position 50, pretty much invisible. Nothing else is showing up. The site's not being crawled very well from a standpoint of NWA decor. And I don't think we need to on this one go into the site speed. I think that's going to be, Stacy, if you want to go to that, I can. But I think in all honesty, what we're going to see is that it's not loading real well in mobile, and it's a little slow. But Wix is probably going to help it a little bit.
Yes.
And the one thing about Wix, though, I will say, if you're new to web design, it gives you some lines to color, if you will. Now you start getting out into WordPress or some of the other languages out there. Obviously, the bumpers are off on the bowling alley. You can really mess things up. But if you know what you're doing, you can do a lot more. Whereas in Wix, it's still just not as customizable as I would like it to be. But it does give, for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, a little bit of guidance, and you don't have to know code to make it work, etc. But you can definitely. I'm sure that their page speed is better because of that, because of Wix, but it's still going to be too slow.
It is. It's better than the previous site we looked at, but it's still by no means better. One of the things, and if you just go look at the site, this is just a pet peeve of mine. I'm not sure if it even matters. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, to the footer, the copyright. I always make sure that's up to them. It's been a bit. But
yeah, that's the thing. Tell me that you're not looking at your site without telling me that you're not looking at your site.
It happens. I've forgotten a year or maybe 2 before to update something, but 6 is that's a lot.
Well, somebody made a good point the other day. I saw that somebody said, if you put the year on your copyright, then in reality it makes it so that it's almost just copyrighted for that year. So if you go back before then, it didn't have it on it. It's really best to put it from, maybe the site was started in 2019, copyright 2019 to 2025.
I didn't think of that. That's a great idea, though. That's a great like middle ground to catch both of them. So that's probably what we do recommend. That's a great idea.
I'm definitely not a copyright attorney, but I have worked as an expert witness in copyright cases before, and I will tell you that they will nitpick on the wording and how that is set up, etc., if it's legal or not. So I would definitely consult an attorney. But I think for everyone out there, definitely make sure if you copyright 2019, this isn't a time warp. This pre-pandemic website, but make sure that the copyright is just just go check and see if you've got that on your site, and maybe
It's
update
just
it.
a pet peeve. You do it to one client one time and they notice it's 2 years out of date. Trust me, you check it every single time. Every
Yeah,
single time.
that's the type of thing that we as an agency, if we don't find it first and the client finds it, we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
We find it, client doesn't really care. But anyways, it's something. I mean, it's just the detail on your site that needs to be taken care of. So anyways, George, what else? Do you have anything else on this site? I feel like I've kind of got what we're
No, I
looking at
think
here.
I was looking at all the pages. I mean, it's just like the FAQs. Is that on its own page, or is that just on like?
Yeah, it's on the what to expect page. Basically, all it is FAQs.
That's fine.
There's a huge giant. I don't know what this space is.
Yeah. I'd want to look and make sure, just the content of them. I mean, because right now they're not getting a lot of organic traffic at all, so it's kind of like free game to try some stuff. And I would check in the FAQs. I mean, we can use schema markup to get them, but that doesn't really work all that great anymore.
Well, tell me about that. I know that schema has its own FAQ markup language for. And those of you who don't know what schema is, it's basically code that you can put on your site to tell bots and others what a specific item is. So you could create schema that would let Googlebot know that this is the FAQs, and so that Google needs to understand and rank those or look at that as an FAQ site as opposed to another type of site. But George, tell me what are you seeing as far as not working as well as it used to?
Well, I want to look at the images, back to the images, just to see the size of them, because I am getting, again, some unused JavaScript issues. Is it? Okay, I was like, is that a different image?
George, let me stop sharing. You can share real quick. You go ahead. Now we're both back here.
I got it. Here we are. All right. So, like you were saying, much better. And this is what you're going back to saying, how Wix is better at SEO now than it used to be, because these are all out of the box best practices. So the SEO part of it is solid. Again, this is a better score than the last site, and this is the mobile. We still got the largest contentful paint to be high. We are showing the website showing faster. But again, contentful paint's the big one. Images. This one I haven't seen much of. They just have the images in there and their size in the Wix system. There's no explicit width and height in the photos. So I'd want to look at that. I don't think it's too much. These are all just things I want to look at. I want to dig a little deeper. That's why I love doing these clinics, but it just makes me want to dig into the site and spend more time.
Yeah, we could probably look at the site for 4 hours and still be finding stuff.
Like I've noted like 4 things for the last site since we've been working on this site that I just popped into my head as we go. So yeah.
Well, let's say, but there's definitely a lot that could be done. And I think that, hopefully everyone's getting some insights onto some best practices as we're going through this. But we are running a little bit lower on the time as far as, well, there's no time limit here, I guess. But I'm trying to keep it under as close to an hour as I can. Let's go real quick and look at our last site that we're going to look at. And this is actually a business that is very close to us here, where our offices are in Allen, Texas. It's Tony, you got to press share. This site is called Monica Wilcox Design, or Monica Wilcox Interior. Sorry, gosh, I'm sensing a theme in the sites we're looking at today, George.
A lot of sliders, a lot of flashy. People like it. Website businesses like it. Other consumers not so much.
Absolutely. I think that, and I can't stress that enough. It actually can hurt your conversion having that animation there. It is. I mean, and I can tell you because I've got right now on my screen. You can't see what I've got, but I've got the software where I can see where we're sharing it, and I've also got in the background. I've got the whole website, and it keeps changing, and it drives me crazy.
Yes,
as I'm just looking at it. It's almost, as George said earlier, give you epilepsy just looking at it. But I think the other thing. I mean, it's got a slider, and also the other thing about this site is it's the same. This must be. I'm wondering, is this a Wix site too? They don't say it on here. I don't see it.
One thing I do really like about it is the navigation. I think it's
Oh yeah,
clean.
up there.
It's
But you
minimal.
know what? That's actually, if we're going back to look at what NWA window did, they could do something very similar to that on their page and make it work very well. I like how it's up in the right-hand side for sure.
Squarespace.
Squarespace. Okay, so we're getting Wix and Squarespace today. Squarespace is a decent platform. It has always been a decent platform, very easy to use. A little bit hard to optimize with from an SEO standpoint, just because there's really not a whole lot you can customize on a Squarespace site. You can't change like fonts and the way it looks a little bit, but you can't really change the code too much on this type of site. Whereas Wix allows us to do more CSS stuff. Squarespace doesn't have those capabilities, or at least they hadn't last time I checked. So don't, in the comments, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. I want to hear it. But I don't believe they have that. I don't have any sites. We don't have any sites on Squarespace at the moment. My wife put her site on Squarespace one time. At one time, I made her take it off, but it's not a horrible platform. But I would definitely, if you can, move this over to WordPress with Elementor, or the other two that I usually recommend. I can say Wix is okay, like we saw. The one that I like is Duda. And Duda is another platform, it's like Wix. It's very easy to use, but it's very nimble in its code and very search engine friendly. So I would definitely take a look at those if you wanted to. But George, what's your first impression of the site besides the banner and the navigation here?
My first impression is I like it. I think it works. It feels like heavy to me, and I think we can do a better job in the content as we go down. They do have a couple. That's one thing I neglected in coming to the other ones is the internal linking. I didn't really see a lot. They actually have some very basic here where they link to other pages, but I think that would help them out a lot. I'd like to see their
this goes to
SEM
the
rush
press
scores.
page. This goes to the press.
Yeah, and it's again too, like if I go to learn more right there, if you click that, it goes to the about, and it's again the banner takes up the whole page. I'd be interested to see some scroll data to see, I'm sure people are scrolling down, but how fast are we losing people?
Right, and I think that you've got this could be three different pages here.
Yeah, I'm just looking down at
I mean, if you're looking at all this stuff, it's got you've got awards, you've got this innovative ideas, you got the team members or the MWI squad, which I don't know why these. I think that this is something. It has to be something in the editor. Why there's giant spaces that we're seeing to try and.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it may be in the editor somewhere because they are awkward. Just scrolling down.
I mean, and just the fact that this is center. I don't like that either, but that's not an SEO issue. That's just because you've got this one that's we're looking
there's a typo in the MWI squad that doesn't start with a capital, but it's just direct.
And that's another thing, make sure when you're looking at and we didn't really get into this on any of the other sites, but it's an important point. There's no excuse right now to have problems on your website with that. Probably go look at our website and see if we probably have typos on there because we're in the middle of trying to redesign that thing. But with AI and all the other things, it's just not, having typos is not an issue. Now, this design is always subjective, and putting this in the center is a subjective decision, I'm sure. But I would definitely think it would look better if it was it was on the left. And then we've got these, this seems like there should be a link to a bio or something, doesn't it?
I clicked looking for that, and so I mean I'm sure people are clicking it. Another page,
the dreaded rage click.
Yeah. The services page has something where I think we're also going to get some dead clicks or rage clicks. Again, we have the giant banner, and it scrolls down. But the can you see where I think people would be clicking and not getting anywhere?
Yeah, exactly. All these to change color.
All of those, they do. They look like links, and I'm sure people. I mean, I tried to click on it several times, and I went through all of them. I mean, it's not a bad idea to
That
create
is, yeah.
pages around these either. I mean, these are the services. So each
That
service
and
should
that is
probably.
the thing about that is that there's no reason for that because there's this the changing color on it is a neat feature, but frankly, it's not going to get anyone to give you any, especially if you don't have a link to it. It's not going to get anyone to give you much
Yeah.
any business at all.
I don't know of anyone that's been like, holy crap, that changed color. I'm signing up. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
pretty. It's
Yeah,
nice.
and
It looks
it's also
okay.
bloating the code because that's just additional code that's in there. I will say one thing I really do love about this site though, and I mean I really like it. I think this site has some of the best photography.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of an interior design. The photography is spectacular, and it really shows what you can do. I think it's a really good representation of who this firm is. I think that there's definitely room for improvement on the site, is from a conversion standpoint and from an SEO standpoint, obviously. But man, you've got the bones to really do something. This good photography for a site like this is a must. You have to have good photography if your site has anything to do with showing people products or what it looks like. You're selling interior design services here. You've got to have the goods. And Monica, you do have the goods here. It's just I
Yes.
think we should maybe rearrange them a little bit. I would really love to see. I'd take this out of Squarespace and put it into a WordPress. I think you could destroy whatever is going on right now as far as traffic and rankings go.
I want to look at the size of those photos too. I think they can be sized down a bit. To make them a little faster. I haven't looked at the speed, but
well, I'm going to go ahead and change out NWA for Monica Wilcox here on SEMrush. So you can see here. Actually, from a backlink standpoint, she's in between NWA and the computer folks earlier. Authority score of 8, which is lower, so that means their backlinks probably aren't as strong as maybe Stacy's couple that she had were for NWA. You also see, it looks like something. This update here, right here, December update, November. This is November 2024, and pretty soon after that, this site starts seeing some traffic. Now not a ton of traffic.
what kind of
keywords? Yeah.
What kind of keywords?
Let's see what this,
okay, there they are. Okay,
yeah, let's go look at that here real quick. Pull these up. See,
okay.
Monica Wilcox. I mean, she's got that branded keywords.
I'm saying we're branded those Wilcox designs. I think most of those are branded. We can say.
Yep, they all. In fact, I think they all are. I don't know SMS Interiors. I'm not sure what that is, but
it shows the contact page is what comes up for that. So,
and this is navigational, a navigational query. So they're trying to find, and you want navigational queries because honestly, you want people on your site, no matter how they get there. If you can provide them with the information and the answers they want, that's why we want them there. I always say don't build your brand on someone else's land if you can avoid it. Use places like Facebook and social media, all social media, to push people back to your website whenever possible. But this navigational is a prime example of the type of keywords that you can show up to get people on your website. Now, these branded keywords, informational for Wilcox Designs, etc., they're good to have, but they're just probably not that valuable when it comes from a traffic standpoint. I mean, Monica, I'm sure
no services keywords. There's nothing about their services.
Well, you have to know. You pretty much, in order to find this site, you have to know who Monica is. You have to be searching for Monica. Now, if you're searching for Monica Wilcox, you will find her. If you're if you're searching for Computer Staff Incorporate, Computer Staff Inc., you won't find him at all. So he's got some additional issues. But sorry, I didn't mean to click on that. But you can kind of see we are branded. 100% of our keywords are branded.
It's the exact opposite of the computer one. Yeah.
Yep. And so there's definitely some issues there that can.
Does she have another site? If you see the competitors, there's a monicawilcox.com. If you scroll down, that's the top competitor on the left. Yeah. See,
I don't know. Let's see. I guess we can go there, see what that looks like. Hold on. Let me just throw this in.
Well, they've been getting some more organic traffic, so I don't.
Ooh, this looks like a site somebody started and didn't finish. Fashion designer. This is their fashion designer site, I guess.
Okay, well that's because of the branded, they're getting that they're showing up as a competitor because of the name. So a lot of the because they SEMrush will tell you who your competitor is by which
This is a
keywords you have in common.
portfolio site. This is a portfolio site. I wonder if she knows this is still up. If she, this is a site you would send to an employer.
Employer, somebody who's interested in your stuff. Yeah.
So
Is it her?
it looks like it. It's a fashion designer. I'm assuming it's her.
Okay. I mean, we just want
She
to
didn't
make
send us this site, so I don't know, but I'm assuming that it's her. If it is her, I would definitely recommend moving this stuff over to your main site and redirecting monicawilcox.com to your Monica Wilcox Interiors. If it's not her, then I would approach whoever this is and ask for a link. If you're looking for this, just ask, maybe even pay him $20 to do it. I mean, it's kind of a paid link, but hey, we're going to want to buy you lunch as a favor, Hey.
No,
I know,
I mean,
and just so those of you who are not in the SEO don't, it is against Google's terms of service to pay for links in any way. So even if you say you just want to buy somebody lunch because they did you a favor and put a link on that is receiving some sort of compensation for a link. It's against Google's terms of service. Now, in reality, enforcing that, it doesn't always happen very well. Everybody in the world can look and find a site that's got links that are paid for that's doing really well. So, but do that at your own risk. Understand that you can get penalized for buying links, and you might damage your brand as well, because a Google manual penalty can really mess you up. So now a site like this, we don't have much Google traffic at all. Anyways, actually, all the sites we've looked at today aren't going to have a ton of Google traffic. I might take a chance on a couple of good prominent links for a little while, but I'm not a black hat. I play gray hat. I play what works. But I also, when I'm looking at the risk reward, it's definitely, you don't want to get on a site that has any sort of brand authority or any sort of branding. You do not want to buy links, because if you do, you can ruin a domain completely to where it's unusable because it won't rank for anything. So you're putting money into branding and marketing your domain. You definitely don't want to do that. So let's go back to Monica's site here. Or was there more on SEMrush you wanted to look at? I think it's pretty much not.
I think the biggest benefit to this site is getting pages for your services out there. Because I mean, we have no keywords. All the keywords are around her name. And I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's strong brand wise, but anybody that's looking for those services, all they're going to find is that one page where it says, services on it, and it just lists things. But there's also a broken video on that page. If you go to services and scroll down, say right there, that video is just
it's just nothing there. Just that's a broken link.
Yeah, it's just a placeholder. But
that's why I always tell people, business owners always come to me like, why do I need somebody like you guys to just make it look at my site? You don't have time. This is just the stuff that happens. As George said in a client meeting earlier this week, websites go to entropy. They're going to eventually, things are going to go wrong in them, no matter what you do. And it could be that the technology gets old and the browser's not rendering it properly. It could be that there's a mistake that somebody made, or just I've seen weird things to where things happen on a page and I have no idea why it happened, and we just have to go fix it. So it's definitely good if you can have somebody watching over your site and making sure that you're not getting broken links like this, because who knows how many opportunities, probably not that many, but if you were driving traffic there, how many missed opportunities do you have for not having that video?
I would think I would want to get them showing for interior design services more. I mean, that is the crux of what they do, and we just don't show up at all for it. So I would definitely create pages around that.
I'm looking at. I think that the copy's okay. I definitely would want to do bigger into looking at keywords that are really specific, and making sure that they're specific to what Monica does here. And the other thing that George, that she does, we talked a little bit for Stacy. Local is going to be very important as well, because I would imagine that if you can show up interior design service as number one in the maps, that's going to give you just as much, or not more traffic than showing up number one in organic search. That is a high intent keywords. People are looking for that. You definitely want to, if I'm looking for interior design services near me, that is the keyword I want. Here, I'll do that real quick. Design services near me. You see here, the bunch of aggregators coming in. Google guaranteed folks, Hank's Handyman, blah, blah, blah. Go down here. And I'm in Allen, where Monica is. So when I say near me, I mean Monica Wilcox's office is literally 3 miles from where I'm sitting right now. And she's not showing up here in her Google My Business page is not. So I would definitely work on that, work on getting some reviews, work on getting, making sure. And the thing is, people don't understand with your Google My Business. I bet Hank's Handyman's doing it. You can put all sorts of stuff in here. He doesn't have that much. He doesn't have any content, but you can put your own pictures. You can put in your own content onto this page, etc. And you can, and then of course, if you want to buy it, you can buy it to where you have links on your competitor's page. So, anyways, sorry, but I think George, what else? I mean, in this, Monica Wilcox, I was just going to show you this. Go back to the website.
That one says it's based in New York, so I'm not sure that's the same one.
I think she has offices in both. I've talked with her before.
Okay.
I think she has a New York presence. I could be wrong on that, but just back to the way you got this portfolio, that other page that you had the portfolio page on is really what. And I think that Monica actually does projects all over the country. So, but I would definitely, you're in Dallas, you're in Allen, especially. I would make sure that you are showing up in the local map packs and just doing some citation work and then looking at reviews management. Getting more reviews to your website will help you in that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, with that, George, we're done. And it only took us an hour and 9 minutes.
Oh, wow.
To get through these sites. So I'm going to stop sharing. George, I want to thank you for being on this show on this inaugural issue. I think you did a great job, and I can't wait to see what the reactions are. And of course, all you people out there, please like and subscribe. And in the comments, wherever you're seeing this, go ahead and tell me what you think. Or you can shoot me an email at tony.wright@wrightimc.com. George, you have anything you want to say in closing?
Just, no, not really. Just we're looking forward to working with you. If you guys are out there, you need help. I live for this stuff, so just let me know. I can help out.
Okay.
All of us can.
Well, thanks, guys. And this has been the very first Site Clinic podcast, and hope to see you at the next one.